All right, so in this lesson, we're going to be talking about some of my favorite rhythm embellishments that I use all the time, and you hear other guitar players doing these. And we're going to connect them back to triads so that you can easily find them and play them in any key. There's no open strings in what we're going to learn, so you can move these shapes around and play them all over the fretboard. Really useful stuff. And I attribute this sound back to Jimi Hendrix. To me, this is kind of a Jimi Hendrix rhythm thing. You know, he's known best probably, well, obviously for his lead playing. He's an incredible lead player, but some of the stuff he would do with his rhythm playing was really cool. And so this is what we're going to be working towards. It's a little simple composition in the key of E. It's a 1-5-4 chord progression, but this is what it's going to sound like. But that's the idea. It's got those little Hendrix embellishments, those little hammer-ons and things that you would hear him do. I want to talk about how you can connect those to triads. So in this video, we're going to go through the first half of that. If you'd like to learn the second half, watch that video and also get the tab PDF file and the on-screen tab viewer, which has tab and video on the screen at the same time. There's no talking in it, but you can slow down playback, you can loop sections. It's just a great way to learn if you want to get just to the song material. You can get all of those extras for this lesson by going to activemelody.com and doing a search for ML145. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're in the key of E. Our chord progression is going to be E to a B to an A. Real simple. The chord progression is irrelevant. It doesn't matter because what we're really going to be looking at are these embellishments connected to chord shapes. And so we're going to be looking at the cage system and triads. So the first chord we're going to start with is that E chord, and I'm going to be in this neighborhood. This is my E chord using the C shape. These three fingers are my C shape, like first position C, cowboy chord C. If we slid it all the way up and played it up here, we'd be playing an E. And in this neighborhood, you've got an E here on the 7th fret 5th string, but you've also got one up here on the 5th fret 2nd string, just so you can file that away. Okay, there's the chord shape, there's the E note. So if I wanted to play an F using that, I just need to find my F note on my 2nd string, for example, and then I can fall into place and do that. So we're not going to be using all of our fingers like this. We're just going to be playing this little triad here. So to do that, you're going to bar on the 4th fret, the first 4 strings, and then middle finger on the 5th fret 2nd string, and then ring finger on the 6th fret 4th string. And you're only going to be playing strings 4, 3, and 2. That triad is super useful. And getting to it, you can hammer on to it. And when you're hammering on like that, you're hammering on from the 5 chord to the 1 chord. That's the Keith Richards move. I always hear Keith doing that. So the first thing we're going to do is that hammer on. And I'm picking the 4th string there, doing the hammer on, and then strumming strings 2 and 3. So that's how we're building that E chord. And remember where we're at. We're in the C-shaped neighborhood. Now after that, I'm going to take my pinky and do a hammer on to the 6th fret 3rd string and play that note. That would be my 6th. And when I do that, I'm hitting strings 2 and 3. So when you put those two pieces together, you have... Now that's a really fun way to play an E chord. It sounds a lot better than this, right? E chord in first position if you're playing. You've got a little bit of a rhythm you can add to it. And obviously, depending on the song that you're playing this over, you can adjust some of that. But that's the idea, is to do the little hammer-ons, and we're going to be doing lots of them as we get into these triads. So that's the first idea. Now watch this. Now for that, I'm keeping the bar there on the 4th fret, first 4 strings. Now I'm going to play strings 4 and 3, and I'm going to do a hammer-on to the 6th fret 4th string. So here's what's happening. After that hammer-on that we just looked at, we're gonna now move the bar with my index finger so that we cover the 5th string, and we're gonna play strings 5 and 4 and do the hammer on again, but this time to the 6th fret 5th string. So we have, and then we're gonna play strings 4 and 3. And this is a B triad in the G shape. So file that away, B triad, it's a B chord, and it's living inside the G shape. So the G shape looks like this. Right? We're just looking at the bottom piece of it. When I play this shape, I don't use all 6 strings. You don't need to. You can kind of piece it out. And this triad is some of the most useful real estate in this G shape. You can do all those little hammer-ons. All right, so let's back it up from that E chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hear going from the E to the B. Now watch this. Doing a little chromatic walk down to the A chord, which is our 4 chord. So we're going from the B down to the A using that G shape. So hopefully you can see that it's, nothing is being reinvented here. We're taking that same shape and we're just moving it down 2 frets. So that's my 5 chord. We go down 2 frets and we're going to the 4 chord. The thing that kind of gives it that Hendrix vibe is the hammer-ons mixed with that chromatic move to walk down to the 4. So you have, that's how I played it. So I'm doing a hammer-on each time on that 5th string. Just like we did for the B chord. We just move that down and then down to the A. All right, so there's one other thing I want to mention here, and that's the rhythm pattern for how we're doing this chromatic walk from the 5 chord down to the 4 chord. And it sounds like this. Notice those muted upstrokes. Watch the right hand. So it's down, down, up. And that up is a muted up. Now I'm being a little dramatic as I'm doing it there to emphasize the point, but that's the idea. And I would hear Hendrix doing this kind of stuff. So just practice it slowly, just down, down, up. All right, so let's back it up from the beginning. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now from here, watch this. So from this A, which is where we're at. Now that's an A chord using the G shape. Just keep in mind where we're at. And then watch this. So while I have that bar there, barring the first 5 strings on that 2nd fret, I'm gonna do that little Hendrix move there where I'm gonna hammer on. I'm playing strings 4 and 3, doing a hammer on to the 4th fret, 4th string, and then playing behind the bar there on the 2nd fret. So it's, and then 4th fret, 5th string, back to that 2nd fret. So it's like this. And that is an embellishment I would hear Hendrix doing all the time. And it's really kind of a fun embellishment that lives inside of this G shape. And so you could do this anywhere. So let's say we were playing a D chord. We're up here using the D chord. That's the D chord using the A shape. Here's the D chord using the G shape. You get all kinds of things you can do with that. So we have now watch this. That's walking down to the E again. So we played E, B, and A. Now we're going back to the E. And to do that, I'm gonna go 4, 2, frets 4 and 2 on the 5th string, and then I'm gonna put my ring finger on the 4th fret, 6th string, do a quick slide down to the 2nd fret, and then the open E. Now that's the only open string I'm using, but if we were doing this in another key, you would just fret that note. So there's no big deal. I could do that pretty easily because my hand's sliding down. Now once I hit that, I just played the bottom 3 strings of my E chord. like that. 6, 5, and 4, strings 6, 5, and 4. Now watch this little walk up to get us back into position for the E. This is really cool. This will be a great takeaway. Isn't that cool? So what I love about this, and I use this all the time as a connective tissue, if you will, getting from this E shape to the C shape. And we're just connecting the triads from those shapes, but what we're trying to connect is where we are. We just played these 3 strings, right? We're trying to get up here, right? Back where we started. So to do that, there's this natural bridge that happens using the major pentatonic scale. It lives here between the 2nd fret and the 4th fret. If you're playing in the key of E, and this would be your E major pentatonic scale. Off of my E shape, for example, where I've got these 2 fingers on the 2nd fret, let that be kind of your starting point. So use your index finger on that 2nd fret, and you play strings 6, and we're gonna do frets 2 and 4. We're gonna play string 6, 5, and 4. It's very symmetrical. That's why I love this. It's easy to visualize. And then from 4, we're gonna come up and skip another fret and come up to 6. So we have, and look at this, my ring finger is in position so that my other fingers can fall into place and make the E chord. There's your light bulb, right? You can see it now. Oh, we're just connecting this to this via this little walk up. And it sounds so cool when you're doing it. Now the way I did it was like that, so I added some chromatic notes, but it's coming out of that same place. And if you're wondering what this little box is between the 2nd fret and 4th fret, that's the major pentatonic scale pattern 3, the bottom part of that. That's what it looks like. So anyway, this is how I played it. I slid up from the 3rd fret to the 4th fret, and then I went up to the 5th string and played. So it's 2, 3, 4, another chromatic note. And now from here on out, it's not going to be chromatic. It's going to be what we just talked about. So that's 2, 4, slide up to 6, and then we're just going to play the arpeggio of that triad. Right? That's my E triad that we started with. All right, so once you come up to this E triad, you're ready to go through the chords again, those same chords. Let me back up and cover what we've just done here. So we have this 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's a good place to stop part 1. Come over to activemelody.com and do a search for ML145. That's this lesson number if you want to watch the second half. And remember, you'd also get the tab PDF file and the on-screen tab viewer. And in the second half, we're going to take those same 3 chords and we're just going to look at some different triads and some more embellishments that you can play. That's the idea behind these, is to give you ideas that you can use in your playing. And remember, since there's no open strings in this, you can just transpose this stuff and play it in any key. Just move your hand up and down the fretboard, find the triad, and you can work these little embellishments into them. All right, we'll see you in part 2.